widespread. But the use of it's amazing because you're able to, break that diffraction limit, look at things we've never looked at before. So I think it's got a lot of applications, but I think a lot of it's still a few years off before it becomes a lot more widespread.
No, by what time we can get more sophisticated these STED microscopes in markets?
So you mean like more availability of them?
Yes.
Or what?
Of course.
Well, I think the companies are all, trying their best to bring these technologies out. I mean, STED's one alternative. There's also Storm and such, which is probably a cheaper alternative. It's super resolution. And like we saw this talk yesterday, Palm and such, there's other ways to go about it for super resolution. But I would think the Storm's definitely a cheaper alternative to allow super resolution. And I think, that the companies will begin to see this, drive here with your country, because I'm seeing a lot of, capital spending here. And I'm sure once they see the markets here, they'll come. They'll definitely come.
Sir,
Yes.
So how was your teaching experience here?
It was very good. I mean, I've taught classes in America before, and like I said, the big difference I noticed was, I'm respected in America, don't get me wrong, but here the level of respect I think is even higher. I really appreciate the way everybody's treated me. It's been a real honor to be here. I feel very honored to be here. At home, I guess I feel honored to teach too, but I feel a little more of that job aspect. Where here, I feel a little more special, I guess would be the way to put it. The students have paid great attention. I appreciate your patience dealing with my, I'm sure my accent is very different for a lot of you to deal with, and it's been a very enjoyable experience. And like I said, it's reminded me that my true love in work and that is probably the teaching aspect. So I'm glad I was able to do it, because a lot of times at home I have to spend an awful lot of time in the lab and working on projects and writing grants and stuff, and I don't have the opportunities much to teach. So it's been nice to just, for a week, just concentrate on teaching. So it's been a very enjoyable experience.
So would you consider taking up teaching as a profession?
Yes, definitely. That's my plan. Hopefully when I go back to the United States, I'm actually thinking of stepping away from the lab more and looking at either college or maybe even lower level teaching positions, so I could just concentrate on that. And the other nice thing about teaching in America, like true academic teaching is like a nine month a year commitment. So you have your summers off too, which sounds pretty attractive also.
So what area would you cover, or what area would you teach?
I think I got to stay what I know. I have to stay with what I know. So the biological sciences is my thing. Obviously I had a chance to teach some microscopy stuff along the way, would be great, but I think I'd stay mostly with, biology. I consider myself more a cell biologist than anything. So biology, cell biology, something in that nature. Not so much the environmental sciences, not really my specialty. Ecology, not really my specialty, but the general biology and cell biology, molecular biology, I understand pretty well, so I feel I'd be qualified to teach such things.
So how do you feel the involvement of participants throughout this course?
How what?
The involvement of the participants of the course.
I think the involvement's been pretty good. I know a lot of times it's hard to, people don't want to ask questions and don't want to do things, but I think maybe the first day the involvement wasn't so great, but I think you got to know me. I think all of you got to know each other a little better too, and it sort of relaxes the atmosphere. So as time's gone on, I think the involvement has gotten much better. And then when I'm able to sit down with you at tea or lunch and actually talk to you one-on-one, I think you start making that personal connection. Everybody feels a little more at ease. And I think like I said, as the course went on, I think the involvement got better and better. And I was really happy with the level of it.
And so, when considering our country, the students of US, they have a early exposure to technologies like computer and all, and we deal with those technologies in a later life. So, what difference did you find in the people or the students here and those of the US?
I'd say really not that much. I think the thing is too is, a lot of people in the course here are younger, a lot younger than me, and looking back, I didn't see my first computer till I was 17 years old. Okay, if I have a problem with my phone or my computer, if I have a problem with my phone, I talk to my daughter, who's 22, and if I have a problem with my computer, I talk to my son, who's 24. They're the younger generation, like a lot of you are in this class. They've grown up with these things. They just know them better. I think back to the past. My aunts. I had aunts that were elderly, and I remember we had like they were Polish, and they liked the Polish polka music. So I think back to when we had cassette tapes. I mean, a lot of you maybe remember the cassette tapes. And I remember taking cassette tapes over to their house and trying to teach them how to use these cassette tapes. And they were a lot older. They didn't grow up with these things, and they just never could quite seem to master it. But every time I come over, they go, "Can you put the tape on? Can you put the tape on to play it?" So I think a lot of it now is I don't see that difference between America and here, because I think all of you have grown up with that technology now. So I think you're all pretty much on the same level. Everybody's grown up with it. You're familiar with it, and I mean, the internet obviously has been a big part of everything. We all can just tap into this vast knowledge base. So in that respect, I think it really makes the countries, I mean, economically, things are different, obviously, but I think when you get down to the nitty-gritty of, individual students and whatever, I think it's all about even now because of the technology and that you've grown up with it, you know how to use it.
So, sir, this is your first experience in Kerala?
Yes.
If I'm right? And how do you like it here, and the stay, the places, if you had visited any?
Okay.
Your
I've really liked it a lot. I got to admit, I was a little nervous when I left and I came here, especially about the food, because all I keep hearing it's spicy, it's spicy, it's spicy. And it is spicy. There's no doubt about that. And I kept thinking, oh, my stomach, this is going to be a tough trip. But I've actually had no problems. I'm sort of amazed, actually. And like I've told a lot of people, I actually feel better, I think. Like physically, I don't know if it's the spices or the weather or what, but I physically feel, just better. I don't know if it's something to do with your spices or the food, but diet-wise, I mean, my stomach's behaved a lot better than it usually does at home. So it's been sort of an odd finding, and I'm glad it's worked out that way, personally. As for Kerala itself, it's, very impressive. I know Srija's planning on taking me a little more, like out in the countryside a little bit, which I guess you refer to this as God's country, from what I hear. So it's supposed to be very, very beautiful. I'm looking forward to that. But here in the city and stuff, I've seen many things, many different things. I've really enjoyed myself. It's all been new to me, without a doubt. It is much different than the United States. It is. And just the sheer number of colors and people and activity on the street. Like I told Shrish the other day, I could see why you moved back to India, because there's nothing like this in the U.S. I mean, the U.S., you look around, you see something, you might see something. But here, everywhere you look, there's something to see. It just seems more. There's just more, And the other thing, I guess, would be the traffic. I'd heard about it. You watch a video, you see things, but to actually experience that traffic, be out there driving in it, it's wow. That's, if this was America, everybody'd be in jail. So, it's just, that wouldn't work there. That's for sure.
So do you agree with it? Is Kerala the Godson country?
It is. It is very nice. I got to admit, it's very nice. It's been very pleasant. It's awful hot. I'll give you that. It's very hot. But yeah, I'm very impressed. And the other thing I've noticed, that the people, when I talk to them, people from Kerala are very proud of their state. I've also gotten that impression that they're very proud to be from Kerala. In America, we're proud of our states too, but I don't quite see it at this level. Like, because in America, we move a lot. I don't know if that's a common thing here. Do people move a lot, or do they pretty much stay where they're born? But in America, we move all over. We move a lot. And I think you lose some of that state pride, but here I really feel that pride that the people of Kerala have for their own state.
I don't think we move as much as you.
Okay, right. Because like I said, I'm planning on moving to Florida, and I used to live in Florida actually. My whole street, there wasn't a single person that was native to Florida. It was all northerners moving to Florida. So you got a lot of more movement. So I think you lose that loyalty to your particular area, where here I seem to feel that. Yes.
We have several reports in the newspaper regarding the Trump's administration, and our Indians are very much worried about this new reforms. My question is that the same feeling among the scientific community in America that some kind of bad is coming?
Okay, so I think the thing in America is, well, the scientific community is associated with universities in general, right? And universities are very liberal in America, very liberal institutions. So that would lean them more towards the Democratic side anyway. So at my particular institution, which I would consider one of the most liberal in the state of Ohio, if not the most liberal in the state of Ohio, it was a very tough thing when Trump won with the university committee, the university community being so liberal. So they really had a hard time with it. There's a lot of worry at our university about funding, what's going to happen. There's a lot of worry with, this so-called, I guess Trump sort of comes across as not the most scientifically oriented president. But I think the thing with Trump that we have to remember is he's just starting and he hasn't really done a whole lot yet. I mean, he talks about things, but until it actually gets implemented, I keep telling people don't go crazy yet. Sort of give it some time, see what happens. Because in our country, we have a system of checks and balances where, like, the president isn't just, our president cannot just say, hey, this is the way it is, and this is what's going to happen. We have the courts that balance it out. Like, I think a lot of you saw this where he wanted to stop people with immigration from coming to our country. And the court stepped in and said, no, you can't do that. So our president doesn't have the ultimate power. And I think the thing a lot of people forget, even in our own country, is the president just doesn't make everything happen. You have to go through Congress. You have to go through the court system too. So this checks and balances, I think, will play into a lot of this. And I think, he might really, in the worst way, want to do something, but I think it will be somewhat limited. And you use this idea of a collective government to prevent a lot of these things from happening. But yeah, it's a time of big uncertainty in America, and a lot of people are very upset about it. But then, on the other hand, the people that like him they're thrilled to death, and it's about maybe not quite a 50-50 split in the country. So a lot of America is very pleased with what's happened, and they're very happy. So I think the thing is, like they say, the jury's still out. We just have to take our time and see what happens. And of course, like always, we have to be optimistic and hope for the best. So I think that's the take-home message at home. Like I said, people at home, I tell them, hey, just let it play out. Let the checks and balances work out, and let's see what happens. But if I had to guess, I would think a Democrat will win next time. Just totally guessing, because the one thing in America that they said was a lot of people did not show up for the election. You're not required to vote in America. It's your freedom, your choice. And all the news leading up to the election I was shocked that he won, because all the news, every report, maybe a few outliers, but everything said Hillary was going to win quite easily. And I think a lot of people just sat there and said, oh, okay, she's going to win, so why bother going to vote? I think that was a lot of what happened too. So that's my opinion on it. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but time will tell. We'll see where it all goes. But a lot of uncertainty without a doubt at the time, at the moment at home.
So you have worked with many scientists from India, and could you share your experience with us?
From the scientists I've worked with from India? Yeah, I've worked with scientists at Case. This is a very international school. Scientists from all over the world, without a doubt. I've had the pleasure to work with Srijit. Like I said, you saw some of the people I worked with in the past. Sibin was here the other day, Manish, people I've worked with. They've all been really good scientists. I think the people that actually, make it out of a foreign country, whether it be India or China or Europe or wherever, and come to the U.S., or they're motivated. They're not, it's not a lazy person who's going to go through all that to get there. So I think the scientists that do come abroad a lot of times are a little more motivated than a lot of other people on an individual basis. And I think that's reflective when they get there. They have a strong desire to succeed. They have a strong desire to be productive. So I think in that respect you get just better maybe more motivated people in general that I end up working with over in America. But the Indian scientists I've worked with have been great. I mean, my department was, one of our major professors was Ram Nagaraj, and he had quite a few people from Kerala in his lab, and they did great work. I mean, very easy to work with, listen well, you know, real respectful. So it was always a joy to work with people from India when I had the opportunity. I mean, I can say that about a lot of the nationalities, really easy people to work with. But again, it comes down to, you know, individuals too. You can't just stereotype, well, you know, everybody from here is good or bad, but you have your good and your bad with everybody. But I'd say in general, you know, all the people from India were great. They've been great to work with.
So on the first day, you gave certain cards to the participants
I did.
as to assess their expectations from this course.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you have been able to fulfill all those expectations?
I don't know if I've quite fulfilled all of them, but I tried to address them as best I could. That's why I started with that. What I'll do in other class settings a lot of times is first day, I'll give a test. You know, you don't want to test on the first day, but if I give you a test on the first day, then at least it's a double-edged thing. It's like I get the feedback of what you know, and then I also, at the end of the class, I give you the test back again at the end and say, oh, look what you've learned, okay? So my idea of using the cards was, you know, to get a handle on what you want to know. And I think to the most part, I mean, I can't say I've addressed everyone, but I think for the most part, I've addressed most of them as best I could, and that's why I did it. And, you know, then I've always been here available, too. If you have something I didn't bring up, I mean, always, like I said, feel free to talk to me. I'm here for you.
How successful do you think our course was?
I would say it's been a very great success. I mean, I'm very happy with it. Like, especially when I do the questionings, like when I sit up here and answer questions, it shows me that people have paid attention, and I think people have absorbed the information. And even the side discussions I've had throughout the course shows a desire by the students here to learn, and a desire from the students to, you know, want to learn things, the enthusiasm. So I think that enthusiasm will carry on. I'm really impressed with the equipment you started to accumulate here at the university. I'm sure that'll continue to grow from what I'm hearing. So I think all in all, the course, it was one of those courses where, you know, you can't get really deep into one topic just for, you know, lack of time and, you know, things like that. But I think given this course, we've had speakers from different various disciplines, allows the students and the other faculty to see, hey, there's all these other techniques out there. There's all these other ways you can go about answering your biological question. And I think it's been a really good, you know, overall experience. And I got to admit myself, I've learned a lot this course from some of these speakers and sitting down in these one-on-one discussions. I mean, not just about India, but scientifically, I've learned quite a few things this week too. So I think it's been, you know, real knowledgeable. And I think anytime, you know, the instructors learn and the students both learn, then it's been a success.
So, sir, given the opportunity, would you like to come again and maybe conduct a workshop or a seminar?
That's definitely possible. I definitely like to bring my wife, I think. You know, she was a little leery about coming this time. But I think, yeah, I'd definitely like to come back and, you know, maybe even see some other parts of India and such too. But it seems like you have a really big country. I've seen one little bit. I'm very impressed with it, so I'm sure there's a lot of other things to see. And yeah, I'd definitely be interested in coming back and, you know, working on some stuff again. That'd be great.
What was the thing that annoyed you during this workshop?
What was that?
Was there anything that annoyed you during this workshop?
Annoyed me during this workshop. Something that annoyed me during the workshop. No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I really liked everything I did. You know, I mean, I'm being a little political here maybe, but no, I mean, everything I liked, you know. At times I wish I could have, I guess the one thing, the little bit different thing that I wasn't used to the time constraint. That's one thing that in the US we would just go and go and go and go. I mean, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we would just go, 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 go. So that was a little different. I wouldn't say it annoyed me. I understand that's the way it is here, but it was just different it was different to be limited by time to some extent. So other than that, nothing really.
Any other questions from the audience?
Take home message.
What was that?
Take home message.
My take-home message? It's a good one. I guess my take-home message, like at least in terms of the course itself, would be, I think the one thing I've told you again and again and again is science it's not the easiest thing in the world. I think that's because, you realize you go to all this school, you go through all this training. It's not for, you just can't grab somebody off the street and say, hey, run a, confocal, three-dimensional multicolor experiment, okay? There's a lot of training that goes into it, a lot of work and effort that goes into it. But I think the real take-home messages I tried to harp on you to begin with was, think about what you're doing, plan things ahead. The experiments, biological experiments, making them work is not trivial, it's not easy. It's not easy, and a lot of times you will meet with experiments that don't work. So I think the thing is, though, to maximize your success, you have to plan ahead. You have to get all the little details in line first. And I think if you do a good job of doing that, then your chances of success are much higher. So when you don't do the planning, then I almost promise you will fail. So I guess preparation and planning ahead are probably the main things I would say is the take-home message in science. You've got to know what you got to know what you're after. You got to be able to plan ahead. And the other thing I'd say is the literature. There's people all over the world doing this kind of work. Take advantage of the literature. It's out there for you to help you. Or something, after 26 hours, and I saw these people in the airport. I was like, wow, this is really wild. And it's hot and whatever. And then he's like, well, what do you want to do? So he took me over his house and he's like, what do you want to do? I said, let's go. Why go to sleep? Let's go. I'm here. This is new. And he was able to take me to a temple and such in the morning, that morning, and it was very nice. Something totally, I was like, it was like I was in a movie or something. It was so different. It was just so different. That's something I always remember. And then I think the other one was the other night when we went to the Indian Ocean. I've always liked water, been a big fan of water. And to actually see the Indian Ocean was just, that was really amazing to say, wow, I came all the way across the world and that's the Indian Ocean. And the craziest thing was that I remember we were standing there, I'm like, what's that? Is that like an island over there or something? Because I saw these lights, like lights and lights and lights and lights. And they're like, no, those are boats. And I was like, I've never had seen that many boats so dense that I actually thought it was land. So I think out of everything so far, that was two of the most memorable moments I had with Srijit, was that.